Coming up on today's FNN, how personal finance requirements are changing for incoming high schoolers.
Plus, we sit down with the country's best history teacher.
And we talk winter sports. Stay tuned for all that and more because FNN starts now. Happy Wednesday, Falcons. I'm Kareem Suleiman.
And I'm Walton.
Michigan is now one of 23 states that will require personal finance as a high school credit starting with this year's 8th grade class. Our own Tess Salvador explores how this will impact students moving forward.
Personal finance is a class where students learn everything about money, from taxes to how to buy a house to how to pay for school. How important is this class for future students? Personal finance teacher Ms. King gives financial advice about what students should do before they graduate.
Should definitely start an emergency savings fund. Eventually, you want to have 6 months to a year of your wages in that fund.
Many financial mistakes can be made without the proper education on finance. Forbes found that 38% of U.S. households have credit card debt. One of the main mistakes Ms. King talks about when high schoolers have a credit card.
In the credit card trouble, like you overcharge and then you can't pay off what you've charged every month, and then you have huge interest fees that start accumulating.
This information can be taught thoroughly in personal finance class. A lifetime of financial well-being starts with managing your money. According to ECMC Group, 63% of students need guidance on finances. Ali Cahill talks about how she will try to manage her money after high school.
I talk to my parents about it sometimes because my mom works with money, but it seems really confusing, so I'm going to have to get the hang of it before I'm super good at it.
According to APA, the main cause of stress in adults is their personal finance. This career-focused education is important to create financial progress instead of financial situations. Both Ali Cahill and Ms. King agree that personal finance should be a required class.
I think it would be smart too, because I know a lot of my friends, we don't really know what's going on or what exactly we have to do or what it all means. So I think it'd be smart to learn about it.
100%. In fact, it has become mandatory for 8th grade and under at this point. The state agreed with that too.
Finance is one of the basic life skills. Deciding to go out with friends or travel, you'll be faced with financial decisions. Career choices, renting an apartment, and credit scores are massive life events. Taking personal finance can help with these and more.
While you may not think your spending could impact your future, you may want to think twice before hitting purchase on that online order.
East Kentwood is known for its diversity as it is number 7 for the most diverse high school in the U.S. Part of that is from the many immigrants and refugees that comes into the districts. These past few days, we explored what it was like coming here as refugees with the opportunity to see the life of an EK alumni of 2019, Bawi Leon. Dotman Par has more.
As you walk into East Kentwood High School, immediately you are surrounded by flags from all around the world. The flags represent the diversity of the student body here at EK. Many of the student body came here as immigrants and refugees. Boy Lian, an EK alumni, came to the U.S. as a refugee at the young age of 8 and went to Kentwood Public Schools as he was one of the many refugees in the district. He was not alone. Boy Lian tells us about the challenges he had to endure growing up, the language barrier and the culture shock he faced as we dive into the life of Boy Lian.
Harder because even though my parents wanted to support, they couldn't because they were not educated on the English school education.
Lian was not just a student, but he was also a varsity soccer player here at EK. He was a forward and number 4 on the field. Mr. Warfield was one of his coaches. Warfield discussed how the attitude and mindset that Lian had was something that pushed him to do well on the field and off.
Boy's not a very big guy, right? And so on the soccer field, sometimes that could be a challenge. I know there were times when guys would just try to literally push him down by his head, kind of like you're a little kid and, get off me. But I loved his attitude because he just didn't care. He'd be right back there in the play or challenging that same guy that was trying to treat him like he was a little kid. And he never really just took it personally. He knew that going in that he wasn't that big, but he played like somebody who was a whole lot bigger. He never let anything stop him.
One of his former teachers, Ms. Shapanik, talked about what EK has to offer for students new to the country.
One of the things that we have at East Kentwood that others don't is that support system, or more of a support system, to put in place for those students, because not a single person here wants any kid to fail or to really seriously struggle. And so we have the opportunity for more supports than any other school.
Boy Lian had one piece of advice to those like him. first gen, and an immigrant.
I want to encourage you guys to continue your progress in school, at your sports wise, whatever it may be, because it's a journey and I'm pretty sure all of you are going through that right now, so keep it up.
To anyone who is first gen, a refugee, an immigrant, or knows of anyone who is, that you are not alone. You are just the beginning of a legacy. From East Kenwood High School, I'm Dotman Parr.
East Kenwood continues to work with the Refugee Outreach Center to ensure that students have what they need at EK, no matter where they're from.
Many teachers have walked through the doors of EK, but recently, one teacher may have bragging rights above the rest. Mr. Vriesman was named the 2023 National History Teacher of the Year, and I had the chance to sit down with him to talk about his legacy. East Kentwood has some legendary teachers in our ranks, and one of them is being recognized not only at the state level, but at the national one too. Our very own AP African American Studies and AP US History teacher, Matthew Vriesman, who has won National History Teacher of the Year. And here's how.
During that experience, looking at primary sources, I was challenged to say, maybe there are some ways that we present history, just going by the textbook version, we're not hitting the whole story. So I was really inspired by other historians to try to create a more diverse story of U.S. history. And then that was what got the recognition.
As a former student of Mr. Vriesman, I can tell you just how hard he works for the students to have fun and digestible assignments. Listen to V, who shares her experience.
Mr. Vriesman really made the class fun and engaging, and his lessons really helped me understand the class.
Please congratulate Mr. Vriesman if you see him in the halls, and also every other great teacher here that works hard to make sure all of us do great. In East Kentwood, I'm Kareem Suleiman.
That's all the news we have for you today, Falcons.
Now let's pass it over to Erica Large for your EK Sports Report.
Hey Falcons, it's your girl Erica, and this is your EK Sports Report. Starting things off with our dance team. You probably saw them performing at Falcon Madness, showing off one of their routines. And this past weekend, our ladies had regionals here at EK in the Fieldhouse, where they brought home 4th place. Senior and one of the captains, Olivia Leapart, says that the team did really good, but is still looking for improvement, heading towards states and nationals.
I think that was probably the best that we've performed all 3 of our dances. There's definitely some things that can be worked on, but we did really good overall.
From the dance floor to the mats, girls wrestling had their first girl tournament this past weekend. Paige Reynolds and Anari Roberts got 4th place, and our other Falcon ladies did really good as well. Anari Roberts says that her goal for the season is to hopefully place at regionals, especially since it's a big accomplishment for girls.
Mine is to hopefully place at regionals. It's a pretty big thing for girls because the girls wrestling program is growing year by year, and I want to make sure that I set it up right so the younger generation of girls can live on and stuff.
Well, that does it for today's sports report. Now let's flip it back to the desk.
And that does it for your show today, Falcons.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and subscribe to Falcon News Network on YouTube, where you can catch sports live streams, previous episodes, and other great content.
Have a great weekend, and we hope to see you back here on Friday.